All right, last one on the one factor ANOVA, and then the next set, then we'll go a deep dive on test assumptions and things like that as we move through later. So analysis of variance 5, APA style. How do we write this up? These are pretty short slides, but I like to provide good examples here so that you can kind of model your own work after that. One factor ANOVA compared mean self-esteem across research conditions, found that there were differences. I present the F value with its degrees of freedom, probability value, eta squared value. I talk about which test I use. So I say, hey, we use the Dunnett's test, both the Wahoo group and the Pocahontas group. You can see I give the means and standard deviations. Demonstrated substantially less self-esteem, and I give the probabilities. And then the negative stereotype group did not differ from the control group, and I give the probabilities there. Optionally, if you were including the Bayes factor, and I doubt that these authors would want to, because it kind of goes against their argument, despite the statistically significant group, the Bayes factor only reached 1.48, suggesting the data provide anecdotal evidence. So I would include that for transparency. Certainly authors could come along and calculate that based on the information here done. Sometimes you'll see results in a table form. If I was presenting the Tukey test, I might make a table like this. What I have in this table are the means and standard deviations, but that's not the interesting part. It's these subscripts. I've got A's and B's. Well, what do those mean? Anything with different subscripts will be the different subscripts represent groups that are different from each other at 0.05 level. So we see Chief Wahoo and Pocahontas, they both have A's. So those don't differ, so they're not different. Negative stereotyping and control both have B's. They're not different from each other, but they are different from the first two groups. And that's consistent with what our Tukey test results showed us. Now, you might also see this, you might also see things with multiple subscripts. So for example, let's say that negative stereotyping had an AB. If negative stereotyping had an AB, that would indicate that one, it's still not significantly different than control because it shares at least one letter, but it would also then not be significantly different from the first two groups because they also share one letter. So you can see that in tables, and the more groups you have, the more that's going to happen. All right, that ends our section on the one factor ANOVA. Up next, assumptions and missing data, something that I really enjoy talking about.